Hi there and welcome to Redstone Academy. This is Redstone 101, Redstone Dust. So this is a new series that I decided I wanted to do. I've had quite a few viewers that have asked me about Redstone and working with Redstone, and I thought it might be helpful to do a series where I look into Redstone and build some examples and stuff like that. And I want to start at the very basics and then move on through the episodes into more advanced topics. In later episodes, I'm thinking of like taking apart circuits and seeing how they work. And I think that can be instructive for even more experienced Redstone users. This 1.0 series probably won't be as useful for more experienced Redstone users. The 100 series of videos will be mostly for viewers who don't know a lot about Redstone. But as we move into the more advanced stuff, I think there should be quite a bit to offer for even more advanced users. And even making this episode, I learned a couple of things. So you might want to stick around even if you know Redstone. There might be something you can learn. So this right here is redstone dust. You can get it by mining redstone ore, which can be found in the world at Y level 15 and below, so pretty low in the world. You will need at least an iron pickaxe in order to mine it, and you will get 4 to 5 redstone dust when you mine a redstone ore. If you use a Fortune 3 pickaxe, you will get on average 6 redstone dust per redstone ore. You can also get it by trading with cleric villagers. It will be one of the first trades that they have available. They will always have this trade, and it will always be a pretty decent deal at 1 emerald for 2 redstone dust. It's also one of the drops that witches will drop. If you need a decent amount of redstone dust, a witch farm is one of the best ways of getting higher quantities of redstone dust. There are other ways of getting redstone dust, such as loot chests and jungle temples and stuff like that. But these 3 methods right here, redstone ore, trading with villagers, and witch farms are the most reliable methods of getting redstone dust. Redstone dust can be placed on top of any solid block. It can also be placed on top of top slabs, upside down stairs, glass blocks, and there's a few non-solid blocks that it can be placed on top of. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can place it on top of chorus flowers. You can place it on top of hoppers. This is actually useful from time to time. You can place it on top of ice blocks. I don't recommend this. Light level will actually melt ice blocks and it will end up destroying the redstone. If you absolutely need a slippery surface to put redstone on top of, I recommend using packed ice, which is considered a solid block, and you can place redstone on top of that and it won't melt. You can also place redstone on top of scaffolding, and I'm pretty sure this is new for 1.16. You can now place it on top of soul sand, and you can also place it on top of beacons. These will basically just act exactly like a glass block. And then there are a whole bunch of other non-solid blocks. Most other non-solid blocks you cannot place redstone on top of. You can't place it on top of bottom slabs or regular stairs, chests, cauldrons, anvils. It might seem like you'd be able to, but you cannot place it on top of leaves. And you cannot place it on top of honey blocks, although slime blocks are considered a solid block. You can place it on top of a slime block, but you cannot place it on top of honey, and you cannot place it on top of cactuses. You can also place redstone dust on top of a number of redstone components. This may be pretty useful from time to time. Most of these are considered solid blocks anyways, but you do want to be careful. You can place redstone on top of all 6 sides of a piston, but if you place it on top of this one and then you power the piston, it will no longer be considered a solid block and it'll break off. In 1.16, you can now put it on the underside of a piston and it will still be considered a solid block and redstone will stay there. This did not work in previous versions of Minecraft. And then of course, if you put it on the face of a piston, that's not going to work very well at all. But the rest of these blocks, it's actually pretty useful to place redstone on top of them. You can also place redstone on top of a redstone block. That will actually power the redstone. And you can place redstone on top of TNT. Be careful with that. Now, just because you can place redstone on top of a block doesn't necessarily mean that you should. I highly recommend that you avoid placing redstone on top of stone, cobblestone, dirt, grass, blocks like that. It's super easy to forget that you've got a redstone contraption in your base. You'll be mining through and you'll see a block that looks regular and you mine it and redstone pops off and you're not really sure what you broke. And it's super easy to avoid that just by using a more conspicuous block, something that makes it clear that you don't want to just mine that block out. I like personally using white concrete. It's got a nice contrast with the redstone that makes it super clear what's going on. And then if I have more complex contraptions, I might use different colors of concrete to make it clear which circuit is which. If you're super broke, you can just use like polished diorite. I mean, that's not a block you're going to find in nature, and it's got the same, it's got a nice contrast. It works pretty well. just avoid using these blocks right here. I just don't, it's not a good practice. You might be fine, but it's just better off if you just don't do it. And definitely don't put it on top of gravity blocks. That's just asking for problems. The purpose of redstone dust is to transmit power, and there are several different redstone components that will create power for you, the simplest of which is the switch. That's the only one we're going to use in this tutorial because I think it's the easiest to understand. You just flick it and it turns on, you flick it and it turns off. And if you turn it on, it will power this redstone dust right here. We'll go over why that happens very shortly, and it will power for another 15 blocks down the row, and then eventually it will no longer power anymore. From this point forward, we're going to use a special resource pack in order to make it more clear what's going on with the redstone. I highly recommend you do the same by going to vanillatweaks.net, and then you can click on resource packs. And then if we scroll down and we go to utility section, I want you to click on clean redstone dust and redstone power levels. The power levels is the most important one, and that'll show us what's going on with the redstone. It's very important, and it's a really great learning tool. If you actually use this right here, it'll make it much more clear what's going on with the redstone. I also personally like directional hoppers, and then under unobtrusive, I hate how busy rain is, so I usually use unobtrusive rain, especially when I'm recording. And then up here, I really like these unique dyes. You can also look at everything else and see if there's anything else you like. These are all kind of cool things, but then when you're ready, just go ahead and click download. And then when the dialog pops up, in the file name, you want to type %appdata% and hit enter. And then you will go into the Minecraft folder and then go under resource packs and save it there. And then we're going to come back into Minecraft and we're going to open up the menu, go into options, resource packs. This is the one I just created right here. Load that over and click done. It'll take a second for it to reload. And then we'll get a much better look at the redstone. Now that this resource pack is loaded, we can actually see the actual signal strength of all of the redstone dust in this whole trail right here. So you will see that it actually decays by 1 signal strength for every block that it travels. If we keep on going down, 3, 2, 1, 0. There is no power on this block right here or any of these blocks right here or on this block over here. But this one has a signal strength of 1. It is actually still powered. It just will only power on that block and no blocks further. This one has a signal strength of 2. It'll go an extra block before the signal strength dies out, and so on. So that is the basics of how a straight redstone line works. Redstone dust will connect to redstone on an adjacent block automatically, so long as that block is up 1 block, down 1 block, or at the same level. So you can use this to move up, move down, move around corners. It'll connect automatically as long as you're only moving up or down 1 block at a time. You can interrupt these up or down connections by placing solid blocks in the way. So I placed a block right there and I actually broke the connection between this block and this block. It will no longer go up that block right there. And you can do the same with going downwards. So I placed a block there and it's no longer going downwards. This only works with solid blocks. It does not work with non-solid blocks. That won't break the connection at all. Doesn't matter what kind of non-solid block you use. It will not break the connection. Couple notable exceptions. Soul sand is technically a non-solid block, but it will break the connection. For redstone, soul sand is considered a solid block for all redstone purposes, and the opposite of true of observers. Observers are considered non-solid blocks for all redstone purposes. If you place redstone on top of glass or any other type of transparent block, the redstone signal will be able to carry upwards, but it will not transmit a redstone signal downwards. This can actually be useful from time to time, and we'll cover why in future videos, but the short answer is sometimes it's useful to be able to carry a signal in just one direction. So this is true for all types of transparent blocks. So hoppers, it will not carry the signal downward. Scaffolding, same thing. Ice blocks, chorus flowers, if that's what you wanted to do. Beacons, same thing, but not for soul sand. Like I said, soul sand, for all intents and purposes, is treated like a solid block by redstone, and then the opposite is true of observers. That will act like a non-solid block, and it will not carry a redstone signal downwards. Non-solid blocks can also be used to carry a redstone signal upwards in a very small amount of space using this kind of stair-step configuration right here. This also works with slabs, but this does not work with solid blocks because a solid block will actually cut off the signal and it won't work. And once again, soul sand is being treated like a solid block and observers are being treated like a transparent block. So you could make a redstone ladder out of observers if you really, really wanted to. Redstone dust can be powered by being adjacent to a powered redstone component or being adjacent to a powered redstone dust. It doesn't matter what side of the block the powered component is on. The fact that this is a powered component in this block space right here will power this redstone dust over here, as will this one right here. Now, unlike redstone dust, it won't automatically carry up a block like this. It will technically go down a block, but that's actually for a different reason. That's because this is actually powering the block underneath it, and we'll go over that in just a second. On top of powering redstone dust and redstone components, you can actually power blocks themselves. So by pointing redstone dust into this block here, we've created what is called a weakly powered block. What that means is that a redstone component that's adjacent to this block on any side will become powered, but redstone dust on the other side will not become powered. Now, that same is true for redstone on top of it. So this block is still weakly powered. If we actually block off the signal from up here, it will not power down that way. And also you can do it underneath. It won't power down underneath or anything like that. And the same is true for the on top of the block. If we block off the signal, we're weakly powering this block, but we're not actually powering the redstone signal up there. Note that you cannot power transparent blocks at all. It's got to be a solid block for this to work. This one does not work at all. Now, the same rules for soul sand and observers apply. Acts like a solid block. This one doesn't. And it's also worth mentioning that redstone components themselves are often considered solid blocks. So here I am weakly powering this redstone lamp, and I'm powering the second redstone lamp through it. And here's another solid redstone component that I am powering the redstone lamp through. The fact that we can weakly power a block implies that we can also strongly power a block, and that is done by powering a redstone component directly into a block. So this lever right here is sitting on this block. This lever is powered, and therefore it is powering this block. This block is strongly powered, and it will power any adjacent redstone dust. Unlike over here, where it's not going to power it because this block is weakly powered, the strongly powered one will power redstone dust. It will also power a redstone component, just like the weakly powered block, but only the strongly powered block will power redstone dust. And it will power any adjacent redstone dust, and that includes underneath. So this block right here is being powered by this lever, strongly powered by this lever. So the redstone dust underneath it is being powered as well. And it doesn't matter what side is being directly powered. This block is being directly powered by this lever right here. So the adjacent redstone is being powered. And just like we did at the very beginning, when we placed a lever on the side of a block and then powered it, we were strongly powering the block. The redstone on top is considered adjacent, and so it was powered as well. And then over here, this lever right here is not directly powering this block right here. This block is actually not powered at all. So it won't even power a redstone component, let alone redstone dust. Only this block right here, the one that the lever is directly pointing into, this one is strongly powered, and it will power the redstone dust on top of it. You can also use redstone dust to directly power redstone components. In Bedrock Edition, redstone will automatically divert itself towards a piston, but not most other redstone components. You'll see it's not diverting itself towards this lamp, note block, or TNT, but it is automatically diverting itself and powering this piston. In Java Edition, you can see that this is not the case. I've got the exact same configuration here, and it is not diverting the power into the piston, nor is it powering the piston. If I wanted to power this piston, I would have to divert the redstone so that it's pointing directly into the piston, like so. Or the other thing I could do is I could power a block, a solid block behind it, and that block is weakly powered, and therefore it is powering the piston. There are a few special redstone components that will divert redstone dust towards them automatically. We will cover these components in a later episode. Also, Any redstone component that's capable of creating a redstone signal will automatically divert redstone dust towards it. And again, we'll go over this in a later episode. As a rule, redstone dust will only power blocks or devices that it is pointing in towards. So we've already seen here that it's not powering any of these devices right here. But if I place a device on the end where it is pointing, it will power that device. And the same applies for blocks. It is weakly powering this block right here, which is powering this device right here. And so if I place one on the side here, it is not powering this block because it's not pointing in towards it. If I place a device there, it is not powered, but I can easily just divert the redstone onto the block, and now it is powering the device. That also means that it will not power devices that are above the redstone dust because it's not pointing in towards it, so it will not power it. Same applies for blocks as well. Not powered. It will power blocks that are underneath the redstone dust, but only because it is powering this block right here. If this block were glass, this lamp would not be powered. It can take quite a bit of work and practice to understand how to divert redstone dust towards the blocks that you want it to power. So say we wanted to power both of these lamps right here. This is actually kind of a tough situation because I can't just divert a signal over here because you can see it's right angle bending towards this redstone dust right here, and it's not powering the lamp. Obviously we could power a block right here and then bring it up a block like this, but if we wanted to keep it all on the same level, this is actually kind of a really tough one because if we wanted to divert it all the way over here, it's still not hitting this one right over here. If we did it so that it's powering this one, now we can't power this one. We'd have to bring it over here, but it's not doing that, so we'd have to bring it over like that, and now we're powering all of this. This is situations where you might want to use some of the blocks that divert redstone towards them, and we'll go over one of the more useful ones in the next episode. But, play around with this for a while and try and figure out ways that you can set up different lamps and figure out how to power them all and stuff like that. It can actually be kind of challenging to figure it out, and sometimes it just takes work to figure out. You might have to go like this, come like this, and then yep, you would still have to come down all the way down there in order to power all those ones. So play around with that a bit. It's an interesting experiment. There's a special case where a solitary redstone dust that's not connected to anything directly will create what's called a redstone cross, and this will power anything on all four sides implicitly. So if I power it down here and then I place a lamp over here on the side, it will power this lamp, and it works for blocks as well. So this block right here is weakly powered, and if I place a redstone lamp, it will be powered as well. And these redstone lamps are not drawing power towards them like some of the devices that I mentioned that will. So if you placed a device that draws power towards it or another redstone dust, it will divert the redstone cross so that it's no longer a redstone cross. You see, we're no longer powering this one over here. This may actually be useful from time to time when you want redstone to power one device but not go in another direction. You can use redstone dust to divert the signal, or another common thing that people use is buttons, because you might actually have a redstone device right here that you don't want powered, and if you use redstone dust, it would power that block, but if you used a button, then it would not. And due to some strangeness, you actually have to update that block in order for it to recognize that it's off. But yeah, that actually can be useful from time to time. Another thing about the redstone cross is that you can actually turn it on and off. So if I right click on the redstone cross, it will turn into what's called a redstone dot. You will notice it is no longer powering that lamp. It will no longer power any lamps on any of the sides or any blocks or anything like that. But it is powering this block right here. Now this block is actually being powered by the switch as well. So let's remove the switch. Let's place a block up here, and we'll put a switch on that one so that we're powering this redstone dust, and we're still not powering any of these devices over here, but we are powering this block now. This is weakly powered, so we can place block right there, but if we place redstone dust down here, it would not be powered. And now it's gone back to a redstone cross. It's powering those lamps over here, and it's still going to power this lamp right here, but if we turn it into a redstone dot, it's only going to power this lamp right here. So that covers just about everything you need to know about redstone dust, but we're just getting started. Redstone dust is one of the fundamental ways that you can move around a redstone signal, But there is lots of different things that you can do with Redstone, and we're going to cover those in future episodes. So this has been the first episode of Redstone Academy. So let me know how I did. Let me know if I moved too fast, if I moved too slow, if something was confusing, if you need clarification. You can go down in the comments and let me know, or there'll be a Discord link in the description. You can jump on there, and myself or somebody else will be happy to help you out with your Redstone questions. I also am going to put this world download in the description. I recommend that you open it up and play with it and see what all the things do, and add your own Redstone and experiment a little. That helps more than anything. But until then, I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this first Redstone Academy, and I hope to see you again for the next one. Bye now.